The Friday Night Football Frenzy is brought to you by Nichols College. Learn, lead, succeed. The Friday Night Football Frenzy is presented by Bay State Savings Bank and the Worcester Railers Hockey Club.
Coming up next on the Friday Night Football Frenzy, the Wachusett Mountaineers look to remain perfect as they visit the Algonquin Tomahawks. There's a fight for a playoff spot up north. The Westboro Rangers visit the Groton-Dunstable Crusaders. Auburn tries to extend the state's longest winning streak as the Rockets host the upset-minded Southbridge Pioneers. And West Boylston continues their run to the playoffs as the Lions visit Air Shirley. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. The frenzy begins right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a wild, wet version of the Frenzy. Kevin Shea, Andy Lacombe. Forget everything you just saw in that open because
None
tonight
of it happened.
Mother Nature won, high school football 0. All kinds of washouts because of this crazy weather, the flooding and the lightning. I've never seen anything like this.
Look at Foley, or General's Den tonight, Commerce Bank Field. Look at the amount of rain on the field. Joe Simone comes back, shoots the Frenzy, and this is the kind of weather we give him.
And he caught 2 largemouth bass at around the 50-yard line.
Look at the Doherty players. They're in a couple inches of water there. You know, you got Beaver Brook, the brook over there.
Yeah, how's that locker room going to smell with those cleats that have been just submerged in water? How's that going to smell a couple days from now?
That game started early tonight, too, and could not avoid the rain. Another game starting early, trying to get around this tonight.
And they did get some of it done there out at Millbury at the swamp, the original swamp. Millbury and Bartlett, Peter Gabriel would sing, "Red rain is falling down." Second quarter, 8-0 Bartlett. John Ruman, straight QB run and some good yardage. I keep playing. I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for quite a while now. Bartlett with some good defense. Anthony Melfi and Brett LeBeau making the stop. And then Bartlett's Cody Adams fucking for the Chuck Cecil hit of the night. The sweep. Adams coming up big. Look at that pop. And now look at this on the sideline. Yeah, bowing up.
You know, we don't have that many hits, so it probably is going to win.
Chuck Cecil hit of the night. Big play on 4th and 4. On the Bartlett 30, Ruman breaks a tackle, spins through another. First down, Woolies at the 11-yard line.
Was Pat Mara out there with a squeegee?
Ruman, he was out there with an umbrella. Ruman on the sweep. Jesse Torres fighting through a block. Great open field tackle. He and Tony Peranto, they were just hanging out there under umbrellas, enjoying it.
Nice.
Chuck Pacelli then gets the call. Great blocking up front. And Pacelli just a bull. What a run. First and goal, Millbury at the 2-yard line. Ruman. Straight up the gut. Land of 6. 8-6. Woolies are down by 2. The O-line firing out for Millbury. Huge 2-point conversion attempt. Ruman. Oh, Ruman. Ruman is in.
Hello,
and we're tied
Ruman.
at 8. So now Bartlett going to go to the air. And they're throwing out of the Wildcat. Adams to LeBeau. Great pursuit and tackle by Noah Peterson. Forget the shovel tonight. You need a snorkel and fins. Third quarter. Tough sledding out there. Great work by the Millbury defensive line. Dominic Holland. Great play going down the line. Now the next play, Darius Givens. Tough mutter. Dare I say Mark Bavaro-esque. He was dragging a pile of tacklers. And that's a big run. Millbury, though, had their hitting hats on. And the defense bowing up. Holland with a huge stick. Coming up with a face mask full of mud.
No Chuck Cecil, though.
No Chuck Cecil.
Okay.
But just a good hit.
Yep.
That might be the Howie Long hit of the night.
All right.
An old Central Mass guy.
Unsponsored. Non-sponsored, though.
Here's Holland again. The eye-opener drill. Look at Holland. Mud all over him. Fighting through blocks. Bartlett defense. Great team defense from Bartlett. They were bowing up as well. Peterson on the sweep. Gets to the outside. Torres and Adams doing a great job fighting through blocks. And then everyone's swimming. The game gets called, or postponed, with the game tied at 8. They will resume in the 4th quarter, Sunday at noon.
It's a big game especially for Millbury, trying to get back in. All right, they did play some football in Bolton. Here comes Bobby DeNaro and the Chieftains taking on Shepherd Hill. They played a little bit of football. Eddie Smith for the Rams with the sack on the first series. Chieftains were backed up a little bit, but then they do a quick toss sweep here to Nate Mansour, and Mansour's gonna pick up enough for a first down. That was play number 4 of the game. Play number 5, Jake Fire going through the middle for a good run, and then lightning strikes somewhere in the North County, and they go into a delay, they evacuate the field, and it never resumes. So this one is postponed as well as so many others. Just a couple of games going on. Tantasco and Northbridge are still playing, and Tantasco's winning that game. That's a big game between the two schools out in Sturbridge with playoff implications, but tonight was a better night for the Ducks or the Fish or something, because the rain, Cav, was brutal. I mean, Worcester basically shut down.
Yes, it was
tough.
tough.
So just getting back to the set here tonight, difficult for a lot of our guys.
Yeah, you needed an arc just to get back to the set. But I love going back to that Millbury game, the Millbury-Bartlett game. What I love about this, playing on natural grass, you're playing with puddles going up over your ankles. No fancy plays. You're not going to cut. You're not going to juke someone. Straight ahead running. Both lines firing out, hammering each other. It was testy. Guys were kind of hitting maybe a half second after the whistle. It was good. It was an old-fashioned high school football game where the two teams didn't like each other, and I happen to like that kind of football. So it was a lot of fun being out there tonight watching that football game. It was great.
If there wasn't lightning tonight, it would have been perfect.
Yes.
You know, this is what you dream about. A nice warm rain, which is nice, playing in the mud or on the turf, but the mud is better, and just mixing it up. Good atmosphere down there, and a good effort by some of the teams that tried to play it.
And I'll tell you, the officials did a great job too. I was with them at halftime. We were in one of the dugouts for the baseball teams there at Millbury, and the officials talking all about the first half. Watch this guy. What did you see? Watch this guy. People don't get to see that behind the scenes, how much the officials work and communicate in keeping the game under control and keeping it flowing and keeping everyone safe. So hats off. Great job by the officials at the Millbury-Bartlett.
In fairness, they probably did that for about 30 seconds, and you chin wagged their ears off for the rest of it.
We were talking up a little bit of the elements, but it was a lot of fun had by all. Plenty more of this wet and wild frenzy coming your way right after this.
The Friday Night Football Frenzy is presented by Bay State Savings Bank and the Worcester Railers Hockey Club.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Well, a couple big games. Now there's a ton of big games this weekend. There was going to be just a couple big games on Saturday. Now that's changed a lot. There's going to be games on Saturday, Sunday, even Monday, huge games. But the St. John's Leominster game that we're doing tomorrow is going to be a big one. Big one in Division II.
Yeah, a lot of implications on the line for where the playoffs could find themselves in the next couple of weeks. St. John's comes in taking on a Leominster team. Neither team's going to say it's the big rivalry game. They're going to say they're all business. They're ready to go. But head coach John Andrioli knows, and we caught up with him a little bit earlier this week, he knows every time they play Leominster, it's a big game and it's a meaningful football game. With the head coach of the Pioneers, John Andrioli. And Coach, if you could, it's another Leominster week. How do you put this one in perspective for your guys as you get set for a big rival game?
Well, you know, it's kind of an annual event when we get into October, and this year in particular, where there's so much competition in our division. And as I said earlier, every play matters, you know, for everybody. So, you know, add that on top of the fact that we have a great rivalry with Leominster. They've always got, you know, an offensively explosive team and a physical defense. Always have a couple of, you know, marquee players that you have to worry about on both sides of the ball, and it's shaping up to be a tremendous end of October, not only for us but everybody else in the league.
With all the competition in the league, how much does it, you know, obviously there's football and getting ready for these big games. Do you look at power ratings? Do you look at math? Do you do any of that stuff, or do you just try to sort things out on the field?
I was never a real good math student, so I leave that to somebody else. But we got to worry about the things we can control. You know, attitude, concentration, effort, our conditioning. You know, making sure that we're prepared well, and you know, you got to play one play at a time. That's all you can worry about.
Leominster's always been a good matchup for St. John's. What do you guys have to do to be successful this week at home?
Well, I think you know, as always, they have two tremendous players. You know, and Noah Gray and Dan Dini, and those two guys you got to account for and know where they are all the time, because they're big play guys, and they have you know, I think a front seven that's pretty good. They run to the ball well, but you know, the key is really Coach Blasey. You know, is a great offensive mind. and he learns how to mix plays in and and really sequence things. So we have to be ready for that type of an attack and make sure that we account for those guys.
This is a different team than from a year ago that went a long way into the finals of the Central Mass, but it's a different team. You have new guys in big roles. How have they performed? Obviously, you guys are in pretty good shape, but how have they performed, and what's your expectations in your report on the team this year so far?
Well, I think we have our senior leaders that are tremendous. Our 4 captains have been outstanding. We've had a little bit of an injury bug the last couple of weeks, like everybody does. Jack Fields missed a couple of weeks, and he's been a dominant player for us on defense, but he'll be back this week. Andrew Del Bracco, we lost to a fibula in a broken fibula against Shrewsbury. But I think we've had younger guys that have stepped up and and played multiple positions for us. So that's been been a help to us to be able to compensate for those things, and that's what teams have to learn to do, and that's what everybody's dealing with, not just us.
And again, this time of year, every game matters, and playoffs are on the line. Would you want it any other way? Every week's a big week.
No, I think however you get there, a playoff atmosphere in Central Mass there's nothing better. And that the teams that we play week in and week out, and I think if you ask them all, they'll pretty much say the same thing, that it's just great when Central Mass is competitive every week and every game matters, and it's going to be a dogfight down the stretch.
All right, now, meanwhile, for Leominster, Dave Palazzi made the switch a couple games ago where he moved Noah Gray from quarterback to wide receiver, inserted Pat Gallagher at QB. It was after the BC High game. Then Leominster has been on a roll ever since. They had a huge win last week. They won in overtime. Shepherd Hill they defeat. Now, it was a big fourth quarter comeback. They're rolling. They got a lot of confidence now, and they're looking to keep that momentum going tomorrow at St. John's and looking for a big win over the Pioneers.
Well, every game from here on out is sort of a playoff game for us, and it just hats off to our guys for really sticking with the plan and not giving up until the end, and we were able to make some plays at the end. I thought Shepherd Hill did a very nice job of defending us, and they had a great game plan coming in. It just, in the end, we had some of our players make some really big plays, and we were able to get some touchdowns there at the end with some 2-point conversions where we were able to pull it out. We're very familiar with them as they are with us, and it's always it's a great battle between our two programs. And we obviously need to stop their pass. They get a lot of great athletes, a great running game. They're always very big and good on defense. So we just have to get back at it and go over the little things. We need to tackle, hang on to the football, and make some plays as well. I think they're a very good football team, well coached, and they'll be ready for us. And we got to be ready for things that we haven't seen before as well. Besides Wachusett, I think the rest of us are really fighting for a playoff spot. So in our minds, this is a playoff game Saturday afternoon down there. So we have to prepare as this is our last game, and we'll go from there. But that's really in the preparation of things. That's really what we need to do.
Tell you what, this is going to be a huge game. Huge game tomorrow, obviously with playoff seedings in mind. But for both coaches, and they both alluded to it, bragging rights are huge for this game in terms of who is the top dog in the area.
Yeah, games in the afternoon, weather permitting. They took a lot of rain today, and then we show it at 7 o'clock. And Dave Palazzi, the Wizard, the former UMass quarterback, showing us the flow this year. Normally we see him in a hat, Kev. He's just got the offense kind of doing different things. He's got that young quarterback you mentioned. They want to limit his mistakes. They want to have him kind of manage the game with Dandini and Gray, those two great athletes, and Travis Storm. And, they've got some guys that can really get upfield and take it to the house. So they've got an offense that can give anybody trouble, and St. John's has some guys coming back on defense this week that should help the Pioneers.
Yeah, one thing you look at Dave Palazzi and what he's done since he was at Millbury, he puts his players in a position to succeed. He is great with adapting his offense around the personnel he has. He's a phenomenal quarterback coach as well and a brilliant offensive mind. Now, you look at St. John's, and they do the same thing. They spread it out. They want their athletes to get the ball in space on offense, get some one-on-one matchups, and then on defense, they want to dictate the pace, the tempo of the game, and they want to force offenses into uncomfortable situations. And they've done a great job of that all season long. Both teams, too, play the Thunder and play some big Eastern Mass teams. And I love the fact that they do take on some of the Iron Horses in Eastern Mass.
Yeah, and hey, without any games, we're at 3rd and long all the way here. We have to stretch the field right now.
We're doing it. We get a chance to talk,
field.
which is nice.
You know what? Leicester gets a win tonight. They played in Quabog and Northbridge, Tantasqua with a win 13-7. You might see it on that little ticker.
It's a big win for Joe Beveridge and company to hold off Northbridge and get a kind of a statement win for them as we get ready for the playoffs here just 2 weeks away. Plenty more of the Frenzy coming up after this. All right, welcome back. Well, before we get into this, we got some college stuff now to get to with some big games coming up. Holy Cross, Assumption, 2 teams that are battling for playoff spots.
Holy Cross beats Harvard last week, and all of a sudden they're back from the dead. A lot of people outside the program had written off the Crusaders. Now they get a win over a nationally ranked program in Harvard, and they get the top team in the Patriot League coming to town this week. Lehigh putting up 50-some-odd points a game. They will be a tough test for Holy Cross, but Tom Gilmore says they know what's in front of them now.
Well, you know if you win out, you win the championship. So that's controlling your own destiny. There's been times where 2 loss teams have won or tied for the championship, but it's very unlikely, so we have to take care of business. So, it does put that urgency on there. But Lehigh is the front runner right now, so we know that we're playing the top-ranked team in the league, and a team that presents a lot of challenges. Their offense is the most prolific in the league, and it's one of the top in the country. They have a couple of great receivers, running backs, a couple of great quarterbacks, a very good offensive line. So we're facing a great team there. So our guys know what challenges are in front of us there. The biggest difference this year, though, with Lehigh is how well their defense is playing. They've had their troubles over the last few years, but they're playing very good defense.
And the give is to Kosher.
All right, the Assumption College football team is at New Haven tomorrow. The Hounds are second place in the NE10 heading into that game, and they have been hitting on all 3 phases all season long: offense, defense, and special teams. Now, the offense and the special teams, it's pretty much week to week doing the same thing. You want other teams to kind of react to what you do. But defensively, Assumption has done a really good job of changing from week to week and adapting according to who their opponent is and what they want to do.
Defensively, you almost got to change week by week because you're facing a different offense week after week, where offensively you are able to dictate a little bit more. So there's some things that we've done really, really well all year long, and then there's a couple things that that we still need to iron out, that are valuable pieces of our offense and valuable piece of our defense that we need to make sure that we have those shored up, and those could be parts of this game plan. I think that we put a lot of things in through camp. And every week you seem to evolve just a little bit more and a little bit more. And a lot of that has to do with personnel, who's available, who's injured, who isn't injured, and then who just has a hot hand at the moment. So a lot of times there's the X's and O's part of the game, and then there's also the Jimmys and the Joes part of the game, where we got to be able to find out, who is it at that moment that we should be going to the ball with. So, I think that every offense and every defense probably goes through that. Special teams wise, I think that's the part where you're probably most consistent. You're just going to continue to do what you do and do it at an extremely high level. So those are the things that, when we go week by week, we say what works, what doesn't work, and what did we have success with in the past against a similar team. And that's, really, where we're at right now, is just trying to figure out what is it that is going to give us the most success for Saturday.
X's and O's, Jimmys and Joes. I'm writing that one down. All right, let's go into the vault a little bit. And who would love a night like tonight in the mud, playing some physical football? A guy by the name of Pat Ricard. Remember him? He used to play over at David Prouty. Everybody saw him. You looked at him like, this kid's going to be something. He's going to head to that next level. Well, he has. He's at Maine, and he might even go beyond Maine the way he's playing football right now. We caught up with him a little bit earlier this season to get his take on the transition to college ball.
You guys play the FBS schools, it seems like every year. What does that do for you as a player and for the team as well?
It prepares us for our conference competition. We play FBS schools every year. Now recently it's been 2 games. Now next week we're playing Toledo. So when we play these games, it gets everyone ready. It gets there's bigger guys, a little bit faster, but at the end of the day we just compete against them, and it gets us ready for conference play.
You had some preseason honors for you. What's that like, and how do you put that away and as the season starts?
Yeah. It's awesome to get recognition just for what I'm doing, but also what my coaches are doing, my teammates. But, it's taking a grain of salt because, I can come out this season and just blow it, So I think it's more of like a team thing. So, I mean, I'm just taking day by day and just enjoying it.
How much does being a senior finally kind of motivate you that, hey, there is no tomorrow in terms of college football?
You just got to take every play, play by play, and every game, it can be my last. And it's the same thing in high school, I mean, it's always college afterwards, but it's my last year, so I'm just enjoying every minute of it.
Does it feel like it's been several years since David Prouty and playing with and having Tooch yell at you and things like that?
I know. Honestly, it's felt like, it's almost a second life up here. It's my almost fifth season now, and I've enjoyed it up here, and I miss double wing offense and Tooch and everything, but it's the past,
What's the transition over the 5 years been like? And the difference obviously been like, because you played at a small school.
Yeah. Strictly defense, obviously. We just watch so much film, do so much with technique. It's crazy how much difference high school is for college ball and just technique and everything. And I love defense more, so I'm happy to actually just play defense now. No special teams. You didn't see me out there really or anything. And it's good. I've developed better since I've gotten there. Just working on my technique and just playing strictly defense. So camp, I was starting at 3 the whole camp, and then towards the end of the camp, they decided to move me and Uchana Iguanu to N. And for the game, they decided to start me, and I thought I was gonna get rotated back and forth, but he kept me the whole time at N. It's a new position for mostly. I played in my sophomore year, but I thought I played well at it and everything. So.
Ricard is an absolute beast. Well, the pipeline of Central Mass kids going on to play Division I college football continuing to flow this year, with a handful of seniors accepting scholarships to play Division I football next year. One of them, West Boylston's Cole McCoubry. He'll play at UMass, and as our own Brenna Wilson found out, he is excited about taking the next step in his football career.
This summer, Cole McCoubry, a senior on the West Boylston football team, announced his intent to play at UMass Amherst.
They were definitely one of the schools that showed me the most attention right off the bat. Before I committed, I got to school about 3 times, so I really got a good feel of what the program's all about, and then just the school atmosphere and everything.
McCoubry is a beast on the field, averaging 11.2 yards per carry and ranked 3rd in Central Mass with 949 total yards rushing. He credits his coach with preparing him for Division I play.
Definitely by far the biggest thing is our head coach, Mike Ross. He's really done a lot for me in really college, but then in other parts of life too, just along with that. He's always there.
The effort McCoubry puts in on and off the field is not lost on his team.
I've been with Cole McCoubry since I was a little kid, and he's been putting in as much work as anybody else I know. But, just his transition year in and year out, how much bigger he gets. I thought he had finally hit his peak 2 years ago, and he comes out and he's squatting 100 pounds more, putting up 20 more reps of bench.
He buys into what we're trying to do here. He lifts, he does everything we want him to do. He's a great player to coach, and all the kids buy into him.
You can add Cole McCoubry to a growing list of Central Mass players going on to play Division I football in college, and that just goes to show how competitive Central Mass football has become.
The talent's always been here, but we're definitely earning more respect, and there's definitely respect from the next level, looking at we have athletes here, some really good athletes too, and that now they're finally getting the chance that everyone else has.
Seeing kids like this, how skilled they are and the talents they have, it's something else. To be able to play against these guys, it really shows you what talent there is in this area.
Well, more and more kids are going Division I from Central Mass because the Central Mass football is actually getting better over the years. Kids are buying into the things. They see these other kids going to get scholarships. They want one too.
Before McCoubry becomes a Minuteman, he is focused on helping his Lions win and make it to the playoffs. In West Boylston, Brenna Wilson for the Friday Night Football Frenzy.
All right, we'll take a short break and be back with more of the Frenzy right after this.
The Friday Night Football Frenzy is brought to you by Nichols College. Learn, lead, succeed. Verterra Nissan of Auburn, Unibank, Pucci's Fine Jewelry, the law offices of Joseph J. Carigula, the Sullivan Group, the Central Mass Safety Council, Holy Cross Athletics. Visit us online at goholycross.com, Mid-State Auto of Auburn, and Milford Federal.
All right, believe it or not, we do have a man of the match to hand out tonight, and it goes from me to Mike Farland from Tantasco. He had 2 touchdowns, both Tantasco touchdowns, and accounted for a couple of turnovers on that Tantasco defense as well. It was a huge win for Tantasco over Northbridge tonight, 13-7. Tantasco hanging on to that last spot in the playoffs in their division, and that win certainly helps.
All right, my man of the match goes to a high school football official Trooper Joe Hilton assisted in delivering a baby on the Mass Pike last Sunday. A woman was in labor, stuck in traffic in Framingham. Trooper Hilton getting her to an ambulance. She delivered the baby in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. So Trooper Hilton truly is a man for all seasons. You see him out there officiating games on Friday nights and on Saturdays and helping to deliver a baby on the Mass Pike on Sunday. Trooper Hilton is my man of the match. And some Worcester Boxers. Big night for the Worcester Boxers tonight down at the Twin River Casino. The Worcester Boxers going 3-0. Kendrick Ball, unanimous decision. He wins. Irving Gonzalez, second round TKO. Kyrie Gray, a seventh round knockout. So Worcester going 3-0 in the ring tonight.
Games that were played tonight, Leicester got a win, so that helps them in the power rankings in their side. And Tantasco, again, they were the number 4 spot in 2A. They get that win, and now in Division 3, Northbridge was hanging on to a spot. You got Quabbin, you got Oakmont, you got North Middlesex all nipping at their heels, and they're going to play later this weekend, or Quabbin in this case. They're playing on Monday.
Monday night for Quabbin, Monday Night Football. That's going to be a huge game for the Panthers. They certainly need to win that. If they win that, that may put them in. They may have to win both of their remaining games to get in. It's going to be exciting here tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. And then one more week of the regular season left, and then it's on to the playoffs, believe it or not. So the excitement just keeps ramping up week to week.
Are we going for Chinese and Berry on Monday?
We could go to the Yummy. They'll be waiting for us at the Yummy. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, St. John's and Leominster.